What's up, y'all? This is JT. I'm making a Capital Flow walkthrough video. I'm going to be talking about what my trading software Capital Flow is, what it does, and how you can use it to make money. Now, I already made a walkthrough video previously, but since then there's been a lot of new features added, a lot of new updates on the platform. So I just want to make another one to kind of touch on these new features. If you haven't watched that old video, don't even worry about it because I'm going to be going over everything I went over in that old one and talking about the new stuff. If you did watch the first tutorial video, definitely stick around for this one because like I said, there's a lot of new information that I'm going to be sharing in this video. Okay, so first I want to talk about what Capital Flow is. So Capital Flow is an options flow service. So what that means is it's going to allow you to see what some of the wealthiest option traders are buying in the stock market in real time. So those wealthy traders that I'm talking about, those are going to be the institutions, the hedge funds, the market makers, basically the people that have access to 6, 7, and 8-figure bags, and they're trading, hundreds and thousands or millions, multi-million dollars at a single time. And the reason why it's useful to see what they're buying in real time is because their trades are all based off of extremely high conviction, because in some cases they have access to the fastest and most advanced stock data and news available, or they have access to certain insider information with companies, basically just access to information that non-professional and retail traders like you or myself don't have access to. Because when you think about it, if someone's putting $5 million into a single trade, I don't care how much money you have. Nobody wants to just throw away $5 million, right? So if you're putting, 5 million, 10 million, 250,000, 500,000, whatever, into a single trade, you have to have a very high conviction level. And so what we can do is we can see when they're putting that money into those trades, and then we do what's called following the smart money. And they call them the smart money, of course, because they have access to that information. So you follow the smart money and you can tell their trades and you can get paid that way. And honestly, it's the easiest and simplest way to make profits as a non-professional trader. And you might not have $5 million to put into the trade that they put $5 million in, but if you can put 500 in, put 100 in, you can still make a solid return just that way. There's some more benefits to using options flow when you trade. Like for one, it's going to allow you to avoid getting faked out, right? You might be looking at a chart or look at some news and think that, a stock is going to move in a certain direction. But if you actually come and check the flow, you'll see that the big money is putting millions behind the stock doing the opposite of what you think. And typically you don't ever want to be on the opposite side of the big money when you're trading. So you can avoid getting faked out using it as confirmation. You can use it to reduce the research process when you're looking for trades. Like we all know, when you're looking through charts and looking through different news articles, it can take a lot of time to actually find just one good trade. It might take an hour, a couple hours just to find some good information. And not everybody has that kind of free time. So looking at the flow is going to allow you to reduce your research process because you don't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to find where the good trades are. You can log into Capital Flow and already see where the millions of dollars is going and know that that's where the good trades are. All right, so now I'm going to actually get into the Capital Flow platform and go over all the features and information that you see on the screen. So if you look at the top left, right below where it says Capital Flow, there's a box that says Overall Flow. To the right of that, it has Call Premium. And next to that, it says Put Premium. So that's going to show you what the overall flow for the day is based off of how much money has gone into calls and how much money has gone into puts. So on the far right in that Put Premium box, you see there's about $148 million that's gone into puts for the day. Next to that, the Call Premium, it's about $154 million that's gone into calls. And then so that means that the overall flow is bullish, which is what you see on the right. So the overall flow is useful because it's going to give you an idea of what side of the market that the big money is really on for the day. And like I was saying at the beginning, you typically don't want to be on the opposite side of the big money. So when you come in, you could check the overall flow first, and then that just gives you a sense of which direction you need to be looking to play. So right below those overall flow boxes, you see we actually have some contracts. So right below that overall flow bullish, all the way on the left, You see it says SPY 404 call 8/31/2022. Next to that, you have SPY 405 call 8/31/2022. You got QQQ puts, some SPY calls, just some more option contracts. So what those option contracts are, those are the top bot contracts for the day. So you can see which contracts some of that call premium and put premium is actually going into the most. Now, typically, those option contracts right there are going to be some of the biggest tickers on the market, right? So you're usually going to see SPY, QQQ, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, right? The big names. Now, occasionally you will see it go away from those big names. Like, for example, that was about a week or two ago when Bed Bath & Beyond first really started squeezing, and Bed Bath & Beyond was taking up a lot of those top contract spots, right? And Capital Flow actually had it both ways. It had the calls coming in right before the squeeze, and it had the puts start coming in right before the drop. So that overall flow plus those top contracts are going to be really useful, especially if those are some tickers that you really like to trade. You can get an idea of not only where the money is going, but specifically what tickers and contracts it's actually going into. So next, over here on the left below those contracts, we have the filter by symbol button. So this is going to allow you to search either one or multiple tickers that you can watch the flow for in real time. So for example, I'm going to pull up a few. I'm going to pull up SPY, QQQ, we'll do Tesla, and we'll do Apple. So the first thing that you notice after you search those tickers is more contracts pop up below those. So those are going to be the contracts that are the top bot contracts for those tickers that you search. And when you search the ticker specifically, it's actually going to give you a dollar amount so you can see how much money is going into those. So that first one, those SPY 404 calls, there's been $3.1 million spent on those. The 405 SPY calls, there's been $2.9 million, $2.2 million on the 403 calls, and etc., right? So this is a really cool feature because it's going to allow you to kind of pick some stocks from your watch list, and you can just specifically watch the flow for those and know what the top bot contracts are, exactly how much money is going into them. And then again, that's just going to kind of give you an idea of what direction you need to be looking to be playing, some specific contracts. You can follow the big money exactly, get into those contracts that have the $2, $3, $4 million coming into them. And again, just tail the smart money and get paid that way. So I'm going to clear some of this information off just for the purpose of this tutorial video. We're just going to keep it at SPY for now. So to the right of the filter by symbol button, you see we have 4 more buttons, right? We have the weeklies, we have the swings, we have leaps, and we have a dollar sign. So these buttons are going to allow you to adjust the information that you see based on what kind of trader you actually are. So these weekly swings and leaps are going to give you expirations. So when you click weeklies, it's going to show you contracts that expire in this same week. So this week ends on September 3rd. So it's showing you all the contracts that expire before that date, right? So this is going to be useful if you're a day trader, because as you know, when you're day trading, you're getting in and out of that trade on the same day. So you're not really too concerned about what people are buying 6 months from now or that expires 12 months from now. You just want those short dated expirations so you can use a weeklies filter. Also, if you're a swing trader, you can click that swings button, and that's going to show you contracts that expire within the next 6 months. So when you're swinging, you might be holding something overnight. You might be holding it for 2 weeks, 2 months, 5, 6 months, whatever that may be. You can use a swings filter to see what people are buying within the next 6 months. And that's another really useful tool because, you know, you're not really too concerned about those short dated expirations when you're swinging. You really just want to know what people are buying over the course of the next few weeks and months. Finally, we have leaps. So leaps are long dated expirations. So it's going to show you contracts that expire 6 months and farther. So some people do like to hold option contracts for 6, 8, 10, 12 months at a time. That's another really great way to make money with options. So if that's something that you're interested in, we have the leaps filter so you can do that. Lastly, we have this dollar sign, which is going to be the minimum premium filter. So this is actually going to allow you to filter out orders below a certain number. So it's going to default you at 2,500. But say you only want to see orders where someone spent $25,000 or more. You can up the minimum premium to $25,000, and now you're not seeing any orders below $25,000 spent. You can do 250,000, 2.5 million, whatever you want to filter out as far as those cheaper orders. So I'm actually going to explain a little bit later how you can really use this minimum premium filter depending on what type of tickers you're looking to trade. All right, so now that I've gone over all the buttons and features at the top, I'm going to get into the last section, which is actually the orders themselves. So that's what you see right below the filter by symbol and below those expiration filters. So all the way on the far left, you see we have a column where it says time. So that's going to show you the date and the time that the order was placed. The next column is the symbol. So that's going to give you the ticker of the stock that was placed, or the stock that the order was placed on. Right beside that, you have contract. That's going to give you the strike price and expiration of the option contract that was bought. Next to that, you have premium. That tells you how much money was spent on the order. Then you have price. That's going to tell you the price of the option contract when they purchased it. And then finally, you have size, which is going to tell you how many contracts that they purchased in that order. All right, so I'm going to come in and give y'all an example of how the orders work. So we're going to look at ExxonMobil, which is XOM. So let's lock in on this contract right here. So we see at on 8/30 of 2022 at 12:50 p.m., somebody bought ZOM contracts. They bought the 104 call that expires on 9/2/2022. They paid $4,920 for the order. The price of the contract was 10 cents. They bought 492 contracts. So that's how the columns work. Pretty straightforward. It gives you all the information you need to know about the order, right? So I talked about what I was going to say. You can use the minimum premium filter based on the tickers that you're trading. So what I mean by that is it really kind of depends on if you're looking to trade small cap stocks, mid cap, or large cap stocks. So small caps are going to be companies that have a market cap between $300 million and $2 billion. Mid cap are going to be companies that have a market cap between $2 billion and $10 billion. And then large cap is going to be $10 billion and higher. So if I'm looking to trade a small cap stock, those are typically ones that don't have a whole lot of volume coming into them every single day. They just don't have a lot of big money traders on an average day. So if I'm looking to trade a small cap stock, I'm actually going to keep this minimum premium at 2,500 because I really want to be able to see every single order. If I was to start looking at orders above 100,000 or even like 50,000, I might not see a whole lot. I might not see anything at all. So I'm just going to kind of start small. And then if I do see more orders coming in, then I'll just kind of work my way up. Like I said, those don't have a lot of volume on an average day. But if you do catch some days where you see small caps and they do start having a lot of those 6-figure or 7-figure orders, that's a great sign that a big move is actually coming. One of the admins in my group, his name is Jesse. He actually does a really great job at finding small cap stocks that happen to have a lot of flow coming in, a lot of above average flow coming in for that day. And he makes really great money doing that. Me personally, I kind of stay away from small cap stocks. I really stick to the mid cap and large cap stocks. So when I'm looking for a mid cap stock to trade, I'll give you an example. Roku is one of my favorite mid caps. Their market cap right now is right around 9 billion. So when I'm looking for a mid cap stock and I want to trade it like Roku, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start by setting my minimum premium at 25,000, right? So now I'm seeing all the Roku orders where someone paid at least 25,000 or more. And certain days there might not be a lot of these orders. There's actually not a lot today. This one that's highlighted is the first one from today, which is the 30th. So we only have about 6 of these orders. So if I'm not seeing a whole lot above 25,000, I'll move down in increments of 5,000 at a time. So I'm going to go from 25,000. Now we're going to try 20,000. All right, so we're seeing a few more where it's $20,000 orders, 20,000 or up. There's actually some just under 25,000, so they kind of snuck in. And again, if I don't see anything under at 20,000 or above, then I'll just continue to move down in increments of 5. So if I'm not seeing anything above 20,000, I'd go down to 15,000, and then I'd go down to 10,000. Now 10,000 is the lowest I'm going to go for a mid-cap stock. If I have the minimum premium filter set to 10,000 on a mid-cap and I'm still not seeing a lot of orders, at that point, I'm just going to say there's not enough volume coming into this for me to trade, and I'm just going to move on to something else. So that's my example with Roku. Now, if I'm looking for a large cap stock to trade, I'm still going to start at 25,000, right? So say that be something like Apple. I'm still going to start at 25,000, but instead of working down, I'd actually progress up. So if I'm seeing a whole lot of orders that are above 25,000, then I'm actually going to up it in increments of either 5, 10, or 20,000. Just kind of depends on how much volume is in the market that day. Like, when we're going into a long weekend, sometimes volume might be lower. Really just Fridays in general, volume can kind of be lower. If there's a big event coming and people want to trade through it, volume might be higher. So just kind of being aware of the average volume on the market is how I'm going to decide where I want to start and what I want to increase my increments by. So if I'm seeing a lot of 25,000, say we'll go up, let's say 50,000, right? So now I'm seeing some $50,000 orders. And when you look at the time, these are all these are kind of spread kind of far apart for me. So I might go lower. We'll call it 35,000. And again, like, there's no best way to kind of use the minimum premium. Again, it's really just going to be a preference thing. And, I can share my preference. What I can tell you is if you're trading a large cap company like Apple, like Amazon, Tesla, whatever, you definitely want to keep that minimum premium filter a little higher. You got to remember that the idea behind using options flow is to follow the big money traders, right? So somebody putting $5,000 into an Apple trade, $5,000 is still kind of a lot of money, but at the same time, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, and you know that there's people that are spending hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars on trades at a time, $5,000 is not significant and definitely not big money when it comes to a stock like Apple. Now, on one of those small cap names, a few $5,000 orders could be significant. So you just got to be aware of the company that you're trading, what their market cap is, what their kind of average volume is, and things like that. So you can kind of play around with it and figure out the best way for you to do it. I just kind of shared a little bit of my strategy and how I like to use the minimum premium filter. So that really covers it for the features on Capital Flow. One last thing we do have, you can see in the bottom right corner, there's a blue chat button. So if you ever do have a question, you can tap on that and it'll go directly to myself or someone on my team and we'll get back to you usually within a few minutes. So yeah, a couple things I just want to leave y'all with, man. You remember that the idea behind options flow is to follow the big money. Now, some of the best times for me when it comes to using options flow is right at the open, right? So right at 9:30, as soon as the market opens, if I see people are spending hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars on one single stock or one single trade in one direction, that tells me a couple things. That tells me that they were eager to get into it because they jumped in as soon as they could. And that tells me that they're expecting that move to happen quickly in a short time frame. So that opening bell flow has been what's worked best for me when it comes to day trading. Now, when it comes to swing trading, I find that the end of day flow works really good. So that last kind of hour, last 30 minutes of the day is when I'm looking to find some options flow for swing trade. So I use that swing filter at the end of the day because that tells me that, the market is about to close. So they're not looking to make that money today. They're usually setting up for a move coming in the next day, next couple days. Next week, just kind of depends on that expiration that you see. So I really like that opening bell flow for day trades and that end of day flow for swing trades. I still use the flow throughout the day to find day trades. But at that point, what I'm looking for is consistent flow coming in kind of back to back to back in the same direction on the tickers that I'm watching. And, you know, the minimum premium, like I talked about, it's all just going to depend on the size of the stock that you're looking at. But when you see that flow coming in back to back to back, you know, 100,000, 250,000, 500,000, for me, that's always going to be good enough to follow, right? And you can still kind of use your chart and combine it with your technical analysis. For me personally, I find that combining flow with support and resistance gives me the most success. So for example, if I see that a stock is at support and there's a lot of call flow coming in, I'm expecting it to bounce off that support level, so I'll play the bounce. If I see it's at support but there's a lot of put flow coming in, then I'm going to be looking for it to break below that support, and I'll play puts and make my money that way. Now, the flip side would be if it's at resistance, a stock is at resistance and there's a lot of put flow, I'm expecting it to bounce off of that resistance, so play puts. If it's at resistance and there's call flow, then I'll play calls. I'm expecting it to break out to the upside. Now, there are people that trade using options flow and they don't use charts at all. The only indicator that they use is the flow, right? And they still make good money, so I'll never fault them for that, you know, because the idea behind that is if you're looking at the flow and you see people spending millions, tens of millions of dollars, example on Apple calls, you know, someone might see that and say, okay, well, if I see people spending tens of millions of dollars on Apple calls, then I'm willing to put in $100 or $1,000, whatever they have. And, you know, they're willing to take that risk because they say the big money traders, they didn't see anything on the charts that stopped them from putting tens of millions in. So I'll just go ahead and trail that. I don't need to look at the charts at all. I know a few people that trade like that and they make really good money. So if you do want to only use options flow, it's definitely a possibility. You can use it just the flow. You can combine it with the charts. You can combine it with the news. Either way, you should be combining options flow with whatever your style or whatever your trading strategy is, because it's really just going to be that extra confirmation, right? Because that stock might look good on the chart, but at the end of the day, if it's not being bought up by the big money and they're not behind it, it's not a good trade, right? So it can be your kind of final level of confirmation if you already have a setup that you've been using, and you'll find a lot of success with it that way. So lastly, now that we've kind of gone over all the features and everything on Capital Flow, I want to let you know how you can actually get on it. So the website to go to is capitalflow.app. Now, one of my goals with Capital Flow was to make it both effective and affordable. It only costs $35 per month. So that's about $1 per day. Now, a lot of similar services are going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month to get access to really the same information, and it's not going to be as simple as a user face. So the benefits to Capital Flow: one is price, it's very affordable; two, it's very effective; and three, it's very simple to use and understand the information. So like I said, we're continuing to grow it and push out updates. And as the next round of updates come in, I'll be making another video like this. But for now, this is what we have on the platform. The app is coming soon. Right now, it's just a mobile site. So it's going to work on desktop. It's going to work on your tablet. It's going to work on your cell phone. It works really great on whatever, device you want to use. Again, the app is coming really soon. That's something I'm excited for. But right now, we're just kind of in the phase of pushing out updates and pushing out features. So again, the site to go to is capitalflow.app. It costs $35 per month. And it comes with the free trial, right? At the time I'm dropping this video, there is a 7-day free trial available, so you can even test it out for free for 1 week for yourself. The free trial is for a limited time only, so if you're watching this video, definitely make sure you tap in and grab that 7-day free trial at capitalflow.app. I hope this video has been useful to y'all. If you're interested in myself and more about what I do, my name is JT. The best way to stay connected with me and everything I have going on is by following me on Instagram. My Instagram is at @TheAlmightyJT. No underscores, no double letters, no periods, anything like that. I do have a couple of fake pages, so make sure you type that in at @TheAlmightyJT. That's my personal Instagram. Hope this video was helpful for y'all. Go ahead and grab yourself a Capital Flow free trial. Test it out. I promise you'll improve your trading. You'll improve your win rate. Your win rate. You'll avoid getting faked out. And if you ever have any questions, just DM me or use that blue chat button that you see in the bottom right corner of the platform.